Ban all the fucking shit heroes, delete him from the game. Jeff wears Crocs. He's a cuck. Delete Genji, delete Moira, GG the end. You can't delete Genji, bro. I kind of realized that all these big content creators that are talking about the state of the meta or how Blizzard are currently balancing things or like any of their new rollouts and updates, right? They say one thing and it gets pushed and everyone agrees or disagrees and it kind of becomes like the go-to like initiative of what's going on right now. But I haven't really seen anyone talk about it in a group setting and get opinions from different people from different places at different ranks. And I just thought we should do it and make a video out of it. Okay, so hero bans, what we saying? What does everyone think about the hero bans?
No, Megaloo.
You think it can be done?
No.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so when Jeff initially said every week it's gonna change, I think that's just like way too long of a time frame. I feel like if you're gonna do it, it's gotta be like every fucking game.
I think it should be like that too, personally. That'd be pretty fun.
You wouldn't want to get on Overwatch if you can't play for a week, and then like would that excite you to play it the next week? I don't understand. It's right.
I think that sounds better, to be honest. So I might be able to play Genji a game.
Then you have like people who build fucking careers from streaming, like playing Lucio only and shit like that, right?
Yeah, prevents one tricking.
Yeah, but is that a good or a bad thing? Because there'll be people
I think that's a great thing.
I think it's bad because you paid for the game. You should be able
Yeah.
That's kind of true.
Whenever I want.
That's kind of true.
You shouldn't, not in ranked.
What do you mean nothing, man?
Ranked, you're
Who's
trying to
saying
win
this?
the
Like
game.
if you go in ranked, like a more like a fully competitive environment, you shouldn't be able to just like I wouldn't say throw, but like just pick what you want.
I see your point. I see your point.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Right now, if you're not picking meta, you're throwing, right? So if they change it to where the heroes pulls, then you're not necessarily throwing if meta's banned. What I'm trying to say is, there are heroes like Mei, for instance, that you can pick that are just easier to win games.
What? Where did my turret go? Okay. No,
That's
wait,
true,
sorry.
but the hard part is that obviously Overwatch, well, I mean, Blizzard as a company, they want to target as many people as possible, right, to buy their game. So that's why they have like a whole fucking range of characters in terms of like their diversity and backgrounds and all that shit. But at the same time, there's a different skill range. So like you know, obviously Genji's harder to play than Mei, or like Ana is harder to play than I don't know Mercy. So it's like it becomes a question, I guess, because there's such a wide spectrum of people that play the game, and all at different ranks as well, even to a pro level. It makes it really difficult to balance, which is why I guess they have such a fucking hard job doing it, because something that affects like one hero at one rank might do the total opposite to that same hero at a higher rank.
Yeah, true.
So then it becomes, but then it's like, how do you even fix it? Because one of my concerns is like first of all, the first thing I want to say is just to like kind of give some context, right? Is that I've been playing games since I was like fucking like 2 or 3 years old, right? So it's always been a part of my life and I've always loved it. But there's never been a game that's quite hooked me like this. So like when I saw it get announced, like I was super excited for it to come out. I love Team Fortress 2. I like that concept of game, so I was excited for this. But I'm starting to think that like in reality, especially from a professional standpoint, like in Overwatch League, I'm just not sure it works, because you have to have one or the other. It's like if people didn't, I feel like the whole meta thing wasn't really a thing until, and by not really a thing, I mean people didn't really give a fuck about the meta or what the meta is until sort of like Apex, which is before Overwatch League. Because as soon as you see pros play it, it's easier to identify how you can get better at the game, which hasn't always been the case for games in the past. Am I making sense, or am I going off on a tangent?
No.
Make sense. I think. I don't know.
But I feel like it's important, like when you're introducing something like the hero bans, like what is the problem that you're trying to solve?
Dude, that's a good
Oh
question.
yeah.
What are they like actually trying to solve? Because if it's one tricking, then sure, that's good. But like,
Oh, I can tell you actually, it's because tank players don't want to play Orisa and Sigma. And that's
but
it.
like, okay, but like the last couple of weeks and shit, they've been putting out these like updates and like really frequently. And like they throw it to the PTR and like the next week it's still like going to live service, so you wouldn't be stuck on any hero anyway for too long. It's kind of probably after 3 or 4 weeks.
But I guess,
Not like 3 seasons.
but I guess the question is whether or not hero bans is the only way to fix that problem because, because yeah, that's what I mean. Because from my perspective, like I haven't seen them even try to nerf like Orisa or Sigma. Where the fuck are you? I haven't seen them try to nerf Orisa or Sigma anywhere near enough to make them like way less viable.
I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying, right? But what I would have liked them to try out just patching faster, right? And then if that doesn't work, they should increase. I mean, not increase, but they should add the hero bans.
There's also this thing of like,
it might have worked just by nerfing faster, buffing.
I agree, but there's also this thing of like, I feel like the community think that they're really out of touch and don't know like how to do it. And there's, for me, there's always something in the back of my head that's like, oh well, they're Blizzard. Like we might think they're out of touch, but I'm sure they know more than I do, and I'm sure they can make better decisions than me. But it's got to a point now where it's like, dude, are you serious? Like some of the fucking decisions they make and some of the nerfs or buffs that they put in place, I just don't understand what they were thinking or what they thought would happen. Like, giving McCree 250 health, obviously that didn't go through because of the uproar, but like, on what planet was that going to solve any problem in Overwatch? I don't understand.
I mean, I don't really agree because like the last, as I was saying, like the last couple of updates, I feel like they've actually just started to improve.
I agree.
Like, at least way better than it used to be before, because like everyone was sick and tired of Orisa, but now they did some fucking changes to Orisa. You know? Like who the fuck knows if it's like actually gonna do something to the meta. I mean, we'll see in Overwatch League, right? But like at least like in ranked, I've not seen anywhere near as many Orisas as before.
That's true. Because it used to feel like you can only win if you play Orisa.
Yeah.
So as
Not
soon as,
necessarily.
I mean, I'd say it felt like that.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Up until recently, I'd say that's how it felt.
I'm trying to collect some information in my head so I can speak proper English when I'm trying to say something.
So you were talking about you feel like Blizzard are out of touch with the community, right?
I'm not saying that. I can't.
Yeah, but you kind of feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like
I
that,
can't
yeah.
figure out whether they are or not.
Yeah. But dude, wouldn't it be a great idea if they added like a voting system, like they add all these changes right from patches? We can check them out now in game, right? Because they have a dev sheet, so you can try them out.
Yeah.
Then, like the 10 matches or whatever, you get like a voting screen where you feel like these changes are balanced, or you
That's
feel
what
That's
the,
like some
the
Fortnite
experimental. No, they're coming out with a new card. Did you guys hear about this in the past?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Wait, so we can
but you can't give feedback in game,
it's
right?
not voting. You give they get feedback from the community though, like on Twitter and stuff. I'm pretty sure.
But wouldn't it be easier if you just had it in like an in-game voting system? So everyone can do it.
Well, I guess that's kind of what it's supposed to be, but where am I going to give feedback about the experimental changes?
Yeah, that's true.
Forums, but like no one's like
Yeah, exactly. No one gives a fuck. I don't think the average player, which makes up actually the majority of their community, is going to be on the forums giving their feedback. But what I don't understand is like there are people like Samito who, I mean, some people don't like him. I think personally, I think he's sick. I think a lot of his opinions are really like well constructed, and I think that like there should be maybe some effort from Blizzard's side to do some kind of like, I don't know, dude, from a business perspective, you can call it like influencer engagement or some shit like.
Alright, let me say something about Samito, dude.
Alright.
I think he's a snowflake crying bitch ass pussy, dude. I'm not
Why?
even kidding, dude. He's the
look at this well constructed argument, dude.
dude. Personally, I mold as well, but I like my opinions are retarded when I mold, so I feel like his molding opinions, if that makes any sense, are stupid. And yes, he's a pussy bitch. Yes, Samito, come at me. He's like Chipsa, dude.
No, he's not.
like
Dude,
Chipsa.
I fucking hate Chipsa, dude.
Dude,
I hate
like
Chipsa
it.
as well, dude.
I hate Chipsa.
like
No.
Yeah.
Dude, I fucking love Chipsa, man. He's so fucking, I don't know, just funny all around. He's always.
He's not funny.
Yeah, like every time I watch Chipsa, okay, he might be a bit good at the game. I mean,
Yo, he's
not, like-
great.
He thinks he's so much better than
Exactly, he
everyone else.
thinks
It's
exactly.
so annoying.
I think
And
he's good.
he's,
Like
like-
he's a good Doomfist or whatever, but he's just an annoying person.
Yeah, but imagine just being a Doomfist main, like fucking.
Yeah, that's true. 1-3-2. What do we think about 1-3-2?
hot garbage.
No.
No, Mega Lil.
Really bad.
Is anyone here in favor of 3-1? Of 1-3-2?
No.
I thought that was a joke.
around every season or
I
something.
thought it was a joke.
Wait, did you say you like the hero pool ban idea?
I
did you not?
do if the timing is right. If it's after every single game, then it makes sense. Like I think if you play one game and there's no Lucio, no Ryan, and no Genji, but the next game they're all back, I think it's fine. But if you're telling me that I can't play those heroes for a whole fucking week, dude, that's just a bit nuts. Because then you have people like I don't always want to put it down to one tricks because it's not the point, but I just feel like then you get people like Red Shell and Frogger and shit like that, SK, who just can't play Lucio for a week. You wouldn't want to get on Overwatch if you can't play for a week, and then like would that excite you to play it the next week? I don't understand. Would you be like?
I'd still play, but it would just be a whole lot less enjoyable just because I enjoy Lucio the most, like by far out of every hero.
I like Genji the most, right? I would have if like Genji was like not playable or whatever, I would have not played the game even for that week. I just don't find any other hero enjoyable.
Alright, so 1-3-2, yes or no?
No.
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 Faster updates and balance changes.
Yes.
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 Do you think the community should have direct input into these changes?
No.
No.
Not
Should-
fully, but a bit. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
I'd say
a bit. A bit.
A
Yes.
bit? Do you have any ideas as to how that could work?
Voting system increase.
Yeah, like I agree with the voting system because like they have something in RuneScape where like
Yeah, exactly, that's
they
where I'm
have the fucking voting poll. Everyone can just go to it whenever they want, and they every month or some shit you get some updates that they came up with. Or just like, hey, do you want to see this in the game? Do you want to see that in the game? And then the community can say yes or no. And
Yeah.
I would like a voting system to be
So,
honest.
so
but I feel like I don't know how the experimental thing is gonna do, but
I think it's gonna do great.
I hope it does great. So for each of the changes that they put into the experimental card, you should be able to say like OP, UP, perfect, some shit like that.
just keep it balanced or unbalanced.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like keep it simple for everyone to use.
The thing about a community voting system is I don't think people will be serious with it. Here's the thing. What if you play like Genji and then they give Genji a buff and everyone that hates Genji is like, oh, this is bad. But you're Genji one trick, right? So you
Yeah.
see vote and you're like, oh, this is Pog champ, dude. But everyone else hates it.
But now you see why it's actually so difficult to balance the patch, because you're right, every single suggestion you've come up with, and even things I've come up with outside of this conversation, all the solutions I've come up with have problems. And there's actually no way to balance it. And like this is what freaks me out, is that like this, like I feel like this might be it. It might just be the first of its kind to just be broken. And I think the community will never be happy. And I was having a conversation with someone the other day about Riot's Project A. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that. But Riot, the company who make League of Legends, are supposedly working on their own version of Overwatch right now, which for now they're calling Project A. And I think,
Overwatch 2.
well, yeah, but Overwatch 2 is going to be the same fucking game, dude. Like nothing's gonna. It's just going to be. It's new characters and new maps, and to pay for it is optional. Yeah, you can play Overwatch 2 without even paying for the fucking game, supposedly. So I don't really know if that's going to fix anything, but for me, what I think it needs is just a fresh start. But it's impossible to have a fresh start. So the only fresh start you can have is with a whole new game entirely. And if it's not Overwatch 2, it's going to be Project A. So for me, it's like I want a game where no one knows the balance, no one knows what's strong, no one knows what's overpowered, blah, blah, blah. And everyone has to spend 6 months again trying to figure it out. And those 6 months are the most fun 6 months of the game. Because as soon as a meta is derived, and as soon as that can come in and out of like fashion, I guess you could say, the game loses its core values because people only want to play the strong heroes instead of having a wide range of choice. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I'm really into the voting system idea because I feel like it's a good
I feel like
idea,
it's
right?
a fair usage idea.
But
No,
the
people
thing is,
will
like,
misuse it.
Can you explain? Because I actually don't get what you mean. I'm retarded.
If I just don't like Widowmaker, right?
Yeah.
And she clearly
Okay,
needs
okay.
a buff. Like, she's not meta at all, but she needs a buff. I could just say, no, I don't like Widowmaker, so it's unbalanced.
Alright, then now I understand. Okay.
I don't know if any of you saw the clips, but like, Super said that the like pro players and shit actually got like a little Q&A
Yeah.
session with
In
the
a
devs.
call like this.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
What-
so
what,
I don't-
with
I don't know what's
Blizzard?
gonna
So-
Yeah, they had just with the OWL players.
Oh wow, okay, that makes sense. What do we think about all the CC in the game?
No Megaloon.
Oh,
Why?
that's like,
You think there's way too much? Do you think
I
Yeah,
love
of course.
CP, man.
you love
When
CC?
do you have more?
But do you love CC because it cheeses wins, or do you love CC because it's a good mechanic?
I don't. I fucking hate CC. Fucking
Oh.
So can I have a
Wait. Chaz
No.
Chaz just raided, dude. Chaz just raided. So
Oh, fuck you, Shaz. No, I mean PokeChamp. Can we just talk about how slow it took for Shaz to write raid 88p in chat?
we've got some of the best players on the planet here in this Discord call.
Hey, me smile.
I'm actually getting a scholarship, 5,000 a year to play Overwatch in college.
Oh,
for
Park.
esports.
Wow. I play in the
Yeah.
Swedish national team for Overwatch. What do you have to say about that, man?
That's kind of hot.